welcome back to MTG Study Hall. I am one of your hosts, Brett, and I am joined this week by Eric, Lily, and JC. So this is our first show back in 2021. We have not had a show for several weeks, so there is plenty to talk about. Before that, I am going to take care of a few bookkeeping things because Tam is no longer on the show, and so now that's my job. So, First off, if you want to support us, you could help us out a lot by liking us on Facebook.com/TCGUniversity, YouTube.com/TCGUniversity, Patreon.com/TCGUniversity, and watch live at Twitch TV at TCG University. We are on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, 5-star ratings, likes, shares, subscribe, you know the standards. Social media stuff, all that stuff really helps, and even just letting a friend know about our show if you like us is the biggest thing you can probably do to help us, just so we can get some more viewers. We have our Patreon junior or higher sponsors that we're going to read out really quick. So a big thank you and shout out to Addy, Andrew Dang, Anthony Albano, Bryce Rathsack, Clay Cardwell, Jacob Masur, Jay Rogers, Jesse Sirvin, Jesse Morrison, Jesse Nix, Justin Farst, Kat Maria, Kevin Broberg, Kieran Vision, Kyle Krasik, Lucinda Letica, Orlando Santos, Paul Casagrande, Ransom MacArthur, Samantha Stevens, the baddest bitch around, Sean O'Brien, Timothy Friedlieb, Tamers Evolutions TCG, and Tyler Zane Pease. I apologize if I got anybody's name wrong. This is my first time doing the Patreon list. Special thanks to our sponsors as well: Nuclear Ink Custom Tattoo and Skate Shop, Red Riot Games, Cards Custom Build, Inked Gaming, and Dex Protection. There'll be more about them all at the ad break. I believe that is everything, and if it isn't, I'm sorry, but this is my first time. So, we have plenty to talk about. We're going to do a quick recap of what we've done in Magic the past several weeks, and then we will launch onto our first subject. JC, what have you been doing Magic-wise these past few weeks?
I got second place in Chandelar speedrun, which I super am happy about. So, speedrunning that old-time Magic the Gathering game. Other than that, just checking out some Kaldheim art. I'm actually really happy with the lands. I think they're some of my favorite mountains that I've ever seen. I'm really happy with a lot of the art. I'm glad we got Valkyries in there. Red got a card that says counter target spell. Yeah. So that's pretty much me.
Alrighty. Lily, what have you been up to?
Oh gosh, just keeping up on spoilers. Feeling very affirmed in some design decisions that I made on my own set. In the way that seeing like design elements that I have been working on show up in cards, which obviously were worked on before I started working on mine. It's just very good to see the stuff that you make also showing up being made by other people. It's like, yep, you're tuned into the same shit. So
fair enough. Yeah, and just knowing you're not crazy, or at least you're as equally crazy as Watsy. That's probably a good feeling.
Hey, I wouldn't go. Don't excuse me.
Fair enough.
I would never have made fucking Companion.
No one should have made Companion. Eric, what have you been doing?
I would have made Companion
recently.
Mostly just playing a lot of drafts online. They did the Omniscience draft on Arena this past weekend, which is one of my favorite stupid degenerate formats of all time. That's the one where you have to play all, like, basically all the cards you draft, and everything costs no mana, and you'll start with 3 cards in your hand. And so it's pretty common to win on turn 1 or 2 in that format. And this last core set, it was particularly well suited for it, with, a draw 3 at common and all kinds of crazy things like that. So that was real degenerate. And then I've also participated in a community draft tournament on Twitch the other day. Didn't do very well, but in my practicing for Zendikar Rising drafts, I've managed to get myself up to Platinum 1 on Arena.
Nice.
So
Nice.
I might actually consider making a limited push for Mythic this season, since I'm already at such a high level, which would be pretty unheard of for me because I've always been a constructed specialist. I've never been much of a limited player, but, figure, hey, give it a try.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I've found I play way more limited when I can play not on Magic Online.
Yeah.
Personally, I have not. I kind of took a holiday off from Magic. I've been keeping up with Reddit a little bit, keeping an eye on spoilers, obviously, but just sort of taking a break, playing video games, playing 40K. Nothing too crazy on my end. So excited to get back into things. Podcast is starting back up from our holiday hiatus, and new set's about to drop, so it is a perfect time. So speaking of that, let's open up and just talk about Kaldheim. So for people who don't know, Kaldheim is the upcoming set, which comes out in just a few weeks, I believe. I should know that. But again, haven't been talking Magic.
February 5th.
February 5th. And is that going to be the release date on Arena?
That's the actual release date. I believe it releases on Arena a week before.
Yeah, that would line up to what they've done in the past. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see the set go live on Arena in late January. But we've got a lot of spoilers. So we had some leaks. From what we can tell, a rare sheet from Kaldheim got put onto a Commander Legends Collector's Boosters machine, and people were opening Kaldheim rares in some of those collector boosters. So the biggest twist of the release video got spoiled early, unfortunately, which was Voronclex, Monstrous Raider, which is a Phyrexian on a not Phyrexianized plane. Very quickly, Voronclex is a 6/6 for 6 with Trample and Haste, and he effectively, if you put a counter on something, he doubles it, and if your opponent would put a counter on something, they put half those counters rounded up, which means that if your opponents try to put a single counter on something, when Voronclex is out, they put no counters. So
half rounded down?
Oh, that sounds right. Yes, sorry, not rounded down. Yeah, half, not rounded up. Half that many of each of those counters on that permanent player rounded down.
Yeah, he's one of those cards that, like, in Commander, accidentally makes your opponent go infinite, though, sometimes.
When does that happen?
If they have like a Kitchen Finks combo or something.
Oh. Yeah, or anything with Undying, anything with like
you're basically giving them a Molira.
Yeah.
Oh. So you're saying we need to build the donate deck and try to combo off while they have our Voronclex, is what I'm hearing.
Brilliant, you got it.
I think I broke the format. So that for me, Voronclex is probably one of my highlights. What are some other cards that that are coming out that y'all are excited about? I got the Mythic spoiler pulled up right here. I'm just kind of flipping through.
Maybe it's just because Bird and like Odin XP like kind of thing, but like Haka, Whispering Raven that transforms into Alrund, God of the Cosmos. I just think that's a very cool card, and I'm a big fan of it.
Oh yeah, and so I guess for people who don't know real quick, so the mechanics we have here are we have modal dual-faced cards, which we knew that we were going to be getting in this set and in Strixhaven the next set. This set, they are creatures on one side, legendary god creatures on one side, and permanents on the other. We also
real quick, which means in Strixhaven, they're for sure going to be spells.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's wizard school, so I would imagine creature, signature spell, or signature spell and permanent is the likely scenario.
Yep. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, I'm talking a lot. Just quickly, we have Foretell, which is kind of spell morph, or well, not necessarily spell, because it's
pretty much spell morph.
So you can pay 2, you exile it face down, and then you can pay a generally reduced cost to play it on a turn you did not foretell it. So you can't foretell it, but you can play it afterwards, following the timing restriction of the card. So creatures and sorceries need to be played at sorcery speed, or instants and things with flash can be played, obviously, whenever you can play those. We have Boast, which is generally a mana activation when you attack with a creature, and you can activate your Boast once. The idea is its creatures are talking mad shit, and you get a special effect when you attack. We also have Snow is back, so we have Snow basic lands and Snow mana. I'm trying to figure out.
Thank you, Wizards, for returning to our blessed Snow lands.
Ooh, I want to put a pin in that because I actually I want to get your thoughts on all that, but make sure I'm not missing anything else. I think those are the general mechanics. We also have Changelings, and some class and race tribal. So we have tribal going on 2 different axes in this set. So there'll be tribal that cares about elves and shapeshifters and dwarves and giants, and then we have tribal that cares about classes, berserkers, angels, and things like that.
And a little bit of wizard tribal.
Yeah, because the giants are like giant wizards, right?
Yep. And
Yep.
it's also to make it play better with Strixhaven, I'm certain.
Yeah, and with the D&D set, and with all the class stuff in Zendikar. We're seeing a lot of angel clerics.
I was sure we were going to get Barbarian as a creature type.
Sorry, that we were or that we were not?
I was sure that we were.
So it looks like that instead of Barbarian, they've doubled down on Berserker, which we
Yeah.
already had.
So for like a long time, because the 3 types that Lavisa Coldeye is from, was she in Cold Snap? Or was she
Cold Snap.
Yeah.
Snap.
So, because Darian was also Cold Snap, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, anyway. So Lavisa does Warriors, Berserkers, and what's the third one?
Oh.
I'm checking. Okay, Barbarian, Warrior, or Berserker. So there is
Okay.
Barbarian.
Yeah, barbarians have always existed. It's just they haven't really been heavily featured.
Okay. That's a little odd that they didn't, I don't know.
Yeah, you'd think it would be an obvious choice for the D&D tie-ins and things like
Right.
that. They're
Well, they
working.
could still make them in D&D, and that would kind of differentiate them from Vikings. And I guess Berserkers is kind of a Norse thing to begin with. Like the word is, so.
See, I'm curious to see if they're going to just stick with Berserker because we have it in Kaldheim, or if we're going to get Berserkers and Barbarians in the same standard. Eric, any cards in particular that are jumping out to you that you're excited about, concerned about, have opinions on?
I must admit, I have paid very little attention to the spoiler. Not for any particular reason. It just other things have gotten in the way.
Yeah.
But I am the new Tybalt is one of the most. It feels like it was almost deliberately a plant in case of Uro, like break glass, because the way its abilities work with, like you get down ahead of your opponent by a turn, you get to exile the Uro from their hand, and then you get to play it yourself.
Yeah,
Like-
and really quick for those who might not know, so Tybalt is this might be one of the more complicated Magic cards ever.
Oh, it sure is.
So
I want to
on
talk about the emblem.
So first off, Valky, God of Lies, is what Eric was talking about, which is the front side of Tybalt. Valky, God of Lies is a 2/1 for 1 black and 1 legendary god creature. So when Valky ETBs, each opponent reveals their hand, and you exile a creature card they revealed until Valky leaves the battlefield. And then you can pay X and choose a creature card exiled with Valky with CMC cost of X, and he becomes a copy of that card. So, and Eric was pointing out, if you dab your opponent's Uro, you can play Valky on turn 2. On turn 3, turn Valky into Uro. Uro did not enter the battlefield because Valky's already been in the battlefield, so Uro won't had the sack effect won't trigger. And then you have a 6/6 that attacks, gains you 3 lives, draws you a card, and lets you drop another land, which is nuts. The backside of that card is also a 7-mana Planeswalker, Tybalt Planeswalker, because Tybalt's the Loki XP and like is doing shit. And I've got it open. So that costs 5 black and red. When it enters the battlefield, you get an emblem with you may play cards exiled with Tybalt and spend mana as a mana of any color. And then the +2 exiles the top card of each player's library. The -3 exiles an artifact or creature, and -8 exile all yard and adds 3 red. That's a lot of text on a Magic card.
So I really like the design of Tybalt. Fun little weird rules thing. Unless they're changing how linked abilities function, the emblem he makes when he enters the battlefield is specific to that permanent, not to cards with that name.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll
emblems.
only refer to that copy of Tybalt, and if it leaves play and re-enters the battlefield, But since it always creates a new emblem when it enters the battlefield, that's not really that big of a problem.
Right.
And it might get a little, I mean, for a long, drawn-out commander game, because the interesting things with these gods is this is a way for the first time ever, we're seeing some new permanent types in the command zone, technically, because Valky is a creature on the front side. You can have Tybalt in the command zone and play Tybalt as, on the Tybalt half, as your commander whenever you want.
Yeah.
Right.
The other gods are... What's up?
That reminds me. So, another reason that people are really excited about that card, Cascade. So the converted mana cost of that card is 2. However, if you cascade into that card, you may choose to cast either side of that card.
Oh,
so
Lord.
you can Shardless Agent or Bloodbraid Elf into that, and then play the Loki.
And Valky's already like a 2/1 for 2 that plays Brain Maggot, like it tries to be a Brain Maggot, is already pretty okay.
Already super playable, yes.
Yeah. So no, and because it basically works like split cards used to until they fixed split cards, but they haven't fixed dual faced cards. So yeah, it's like Eric said, it's people are already brewing some weird cascade options on some of these dual faced cards. Which I mean,
definitely gonna change out because I like Kroxa, but I think Tybalt is a better Kroxa.
Yeah, I'm very excited. See, I like planeswalkers and weird stuff in the command zone. So like, there's just a lot of stuff. There's the god of the world tree is a legendary 5-color enchantment. So like, you can have a 5-color enchantment in the command zone. You can have there's a couple equipments. The red god is basically Thor, so you can have the Thor or Mjolnir. I don't know.
All those artifacts, like those specific artifacts, and I like the fact that like some of them are different colors on the backside than they are on the front, but then still part of their color identity. So, the God of Winter is green on the front side, but blue-black on the backside. So it's this multi-commander.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with how they're doing some of that stuff. JC, what are some of the stuff that's standing out to you?
So I like that they're bringing back snow. I like snow as a thing because like people don't really worry about it unless they worry about it. So like people don't build decks to hate on it typically, and usually like if you're playing with other things that have like, you know, like Snow Walk or like, you know, like other things that take advantage of it, that leads to some cool things in the future, and that leads to like a lot more mechanics that they can build. So I super dig that. Other than that, really just I've been looking at a lot of the art and stuff. I super dig this kind of like Norse magical kind of stuff. I really do like the not transform mechanics, but the dual face cards and, you know, how they interchange and stuff like that. I actually think it's really cool. I think this is going to be a dynamic set. I like Foretell. I think Foretell is a cool mechanic, so.
And something it's up your alley. One of the mechanics I forgot. We have sagas that are back, which sagas are kind of deciduous. At least they're deciduous, or they're almost deciduous. For those of you who don't know, that means it's a mechanic that isn't guaranteedly going to be in a set, but it can be. Treasure is like that at this point. Hybrid man is like that.
Equipment.
Yeah, so it's stuff that is not guaranteed to be in each set, like flying or trample is going to be, but they can use it when they want to. So I don't know if sagas have hit that deciduous point yet, and they call it deciduous because the mechanics like trample, they're called evergreen mechanics, so they're in every set. I don't know if it's hit deciduous yet, but if not, it's close, because we've gotten them pretty regularly now. But on the sagas, so each of the sagas are telling a story of the 10 realms of Kaldheim. They're playing on the 9 realms in Norse mythology. And a lot of the art on these are like tapestries, and a couple of them are actually wood carvings. And if I'm remembering correctly, the artist actually did a wood carving, and that's the art on the card. It's a real life wood carving.
Yeah. One of them's an actual wood carving. One of them is gold leaf and paint on a plank of wood. So yeah, they did a variety of.
And one's a tattoo.
Like
now,
Freya's Retribution, is that the one that's the not gold leaf but the wood carving?
I don't know names.
The one that's wood carving is binding the old gods.
Cool, yeah. The Freya's must be the gold leaf because it looks very much like that.
And then there's one that I don't think has actually been officially released yet. It was out from one of the leaks from those early sets, but one of them, the Red Black Saga, is an arm tattoo. Now, from what I can tell, it looks like it's just a drawing of someone did of an arm and then the tattoo on it. But I just love sagas, and I love, since we live in one set, one set that we're onto a new world. I like sagas being able to establish some story without having to spread it out over 3 blocks. There's a card that came out today that I wanted to ask y'all about. I'm trying to find it here. It's it's that weird blue snow creature that turns into an angel. It's the what are the other that Laura Winpitkin?
Yeah, there's the red white hybrid from Lorwyn, and then there's the green creature with the white black activated abilities from Tarkir.
Yeah, so Ascendant Spirit is a 1/1 for 1 blue, and then you pay 2 snow mana and 2 snow, and it becomes a spirit warrior with base power and toughness 2/3.
Oh, Figure of Destiny. Okay,
yes!
I figured, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I was trying to figure out what you were talking about. Yeah, Figure of Destiny. The ones that kind of transform themselves up in stages.
Yeah. And then you pay 3 snow, and this one then it becomes a 4/4 flying angel, and then you pay 4 more, and you got to put 2 counters on it, and it gains an instance of this creature when it deals combat damage, draw a card. So you can keep doing that last one and dumping counters and putting multiple instances of that.
I want to say there was an Abzan one from Cons as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is like the third one. Is it? It doesn't feel like wildly out of Blue's color pie necessarily, but it seems weird that this is a mono blue angel.
So okay, I'm of several minds on this. So it's a spirit to begin with. Blue gets spirits with weird abilities. That's like a thing we've been seeing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Blue gets creatures that transform into other creatures. Everybody gets level up, but like Blue definitely can get that. I think it's an angel just for. Oh, I'm sorry, Eric?
Oh no, I can also think of at least one other mono blue angel already, just off the top of my head.
Oh, the illusion one. I don't think that counts.
Yeah.
I know it counts, but illusory angel.
Right, but I mean, like that's kind of the it feels like it could be a similar track here. Like it's a spirits. I don't know. I've always conflated spirits and illusions in my head, but I don't know for no good reason.
No, that's fair. I think it's an angel here because of that like story of the spirit, like of just like the whole like spirit warrior and the afterlife is a Norse thing, and then ascending to like the Valkyriehood.
Yeah, I'm sure it is a very specific lore call out. Not, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a neat card.
Also, I think it's a call out to kind of like destiny and like fate, and Blue definitely gets to deal with foretelling and fate and things like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it just seems weird to me, but yeah, I just when I saw Angel, but Eric, that's a fair point about Illusory Angel, and no, it seems on theme for Blue, it seems on theme for Norse, but I wasn't expecting a Figure of Destiny in mono blue. In snow mono blue. Also,
yeah, it feels like in this instance the actual color of the card is secondary to the fact that it's a snow mechanic. Like you could have. It's not like it requires a further investment of blue mana.
You could do that in any color except green. That exact creature could be in any color except green.
Which there may be some arguments that ought to be white, but regardless, somebody pointed out on Reddit that it's a snow angel.
Nice.
So that's fun.
Oh gosh.
So
no,
go ahead. I was going to pivot. So
nope, don't like that.
I think Foretell is really good. Like most of these spells seem playable as is, and then they let you split up the cost.
The counterspell in particular.
But not just that, but most of these Foretell costs, their mana cost, which is reasonable for that effect as is, equals the like Foretell cost plus 2.
Sure. Yeah, they're like, a lot of them like obviously it's Foretell smacks of one of those mechanics that is primarily designed for limited play. But yeah, it does seem they did not aggressively overcost some of the things like they sometimes do for mechanics of that nature.
Right.
where like if you tag on whatever the block mechanic is, you have to make it cost 1 or 2 generic mana more than it normally would for that effect, because you're getting some sort of upside.
As an example, like I consider, like, thinking about it, I'm considering it closer to flashback than I do morph. Like, yes, you don't get the double effect, but if you took both halves of the flashback and had that be the spell you could only cast from your graveyard.
Yeah. Well, like every mechanic ever printed on an instant or sorcery, it's just another variation of kicker.
This isn't a variation of kicker.
No, I know. No, this is actually my first thought was it reminded me of suspend, actually.
Yeah, same. But like, since it doesn't have it has a minor time investment. Like, you can play it next turn.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't know what it is and they can't prepare for it.
Do y'all see that the free creature, the free scarecrow?
Yeah. You just can't do it the same turn. That's nice.
That's a neat one.
It's got a foretell and then it costs 0.
Yeah, it's a 2/3 for 3 scarecrow artifact creature, but yeah, then the foretell cost is 0. So you can foretell it on turn 2, and turn 3 you get a free 2/3.
So you just have to reveal it from your hand and say, "I'm coming."
You don't reveal it. You just foretell it face down.
No, the riff on the...
Yeah, I know. I just got it.
So I'm happy that these seem pushed enough, because I like morph. I like the mystery mechanic. I like the whole Yu-Gi-Oh! Trap card kind of feel. If there's only 1 or 2 constructed playable ones, it's not a question. So, like, if, let's say, only the draw spell or only the counter spell was good, well, then the blue deck's pretty boring. It's like, I foretell this card, which really is then, I reveal this from my hand, and next turn I'll do it.
Yeah.
And so having enough be playable and constructed means that you actually get to play that mind game with your opponent. And I really like that extra layer of the game. Like, if there's only 1 good morph creature in your deck, you know what morph creature it is. But if they're running 3 morph creatures or 3 foretell cards, now maybe you got a stew going. So I'm pretty happy.
Morph definitely had that problem in standard, especially because it was like, oh, you're playing mono red and you played a face down creature. It's Blistering Firecat. I know that it's Blistering Firecat. Like, it's not going to be anything other than Blistering Firecat. So I know specifically what to play around at this point. So,
like, I know Wizards has been pushing things a little much recently, but I feel like this is a place to push into constructed playability to feel limited what's going on, what are you foretelling, to matter a little bit more.
I'm not going to lie. I did not realize until just now that foretell actually exiled the cards face down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's much better.
Did not know that. So that definitely changes my view on it for sure.
And I just want to throw out. Go ahead.
I feel like there's going to be either a Jeskai or a Grixis morph deck in the standard. Not morph. Good lord, foretell deck.
There's the horse that cares about foretell, and I know I said the counterspell. Yeah. I'm laying on that, but the counterspell. It's a normal cancel, but then it's foretell for 2, but then the counterspell cost is 1 blue and 1. So you can, it's just not that blue heavy. So like that seems really nice if you're playing 3 color, even this, or like, let's say even like Pioneer, where you can guarantee that counterspell on turn 3 with only 1 blue pip. Seems good.
Yeah, that's
Same
like
with
you
the
can
murder.
Yeah, you just play it. You just foretell it on turn 2, and then you literally have it available the rest of the game.
Especially because the mana investment is a little different on the foretell cards, like you're talking about, and then there's other cards that only care about snow, so you can run lands that you can run basically a multicolor deck easier because you can have cards that are linked by that they're just snow covered. And that they need less of a mana investment. So and I feel like it fuels and enables kind of multicolor decks.
And I think we're going to see a lot of 4-color draft decks where you're because you've got to draft snowlands. So where you're going to grab those snowlands, you're going to grab those foretell costs because the foretell costs seem to generally pull colored pips off. So I can maybe go 3 or 4 colors and I have to foretell this card, and we have the tap land snowlands that are 2 basic types at common, and those replace the basic land slot. So I think there's going to be a lot. I think 5 colors and 4 colors snow. I mean, we haven't seen the full set. I would not be surprised if that is an archetype.
I am a little unsure for paper magic, like, because last time we had snow, they were the basic land slots. The basic snow lands are the basic lands.
Yeah.
In the past.
Yes.
I don't know. It just is like having that be fixing lands is probably better for draft, but like
Pressing if you're hoping to open
availability of snowlands. Like, are we at the point where we've had snowlands printed enough that they're affordable for people that want to have them?
So here, that reminds me, I saw somebody propose this, and this would be for constructed purposes only, not for limited, obviously. But somebody on Twitter proposed a rule change where at the beginning of a tournament and or a game or whatever, because I think they were talking in the context of Commander, but this could work in constructed as well. You can declare that all of the basics in your deck are to be counted as snowlands, and then they are.
I wouldn't have an issue with that because I kind of want to say this in the post show, but I have mixed feelings about snow. And the more snow cards you put out, this is a commander focused concern, but the more snow cards you put out makes it harder and harder to not just play snow in commander, because now there's more and more cards that are like, run this one card, it's worth it, make all your basics snow. And
Right.
now when we're saying, hey, come play commander, oh, what do I need? Well, you need to make a 100 card deck. And then all your basic lands, which used to be cheap, now you need to spend $1 per. So now you need to spend $25 on your basic lands, and then you should probably run some dual lands, and then here are some rares and mythics you want, and now all of a sudden commander deck prices all just went up by $20 because there's too much snow to not play snow.
Right. There are no real viable snow hate cards other than like Freyalise' Radiance or whatever. But
and we have a new snow hate card in the set, but
yeah,
it's
still pretty iffy. It's not enough. It's not enough to make there be a cost for running snow permanent. So it's literally just snow basic. As of right now, snow basic lands are just strictly better than regular basic lands.
And my gripe with the god that is the snow hate card, if Commander becomes, like Eric said, snow basics are better than regular basics. But then sometimes someone in the command zone says, all your lands come into play tapped. That doesn't even seem fun the other way. Like, when they said, like, oh, we're going to print some snow hate, I was talking to Cat and Ray, I'm like, if they're printing reasonable snow hate, it needs to be a card I'd be happy to run anyway that also hoses snow.
Like, what's that non-basic land, deal like 2 damage for each price of progress?
Yeah.
What if they printed cards that said snow mana can't be used to cast this spell?
So, okay. I appreciate the creativity there, but that's funny to me because that's like such a weird thing to like spell out on the card.
I would, if you're going to go down that road, and I saw people kind of suggesting this with the snow haters, and I want to be clear, I'm not a snow hater, but I saw some of the snow haters suggest this. Make cards that care about basic mana produced by basic lands. So I think
these are basic lands.
But I'd say specific. So but say this spell can only be cast via basic mana.
But there's not a basic mana, like just like how there's not generic.
Yeah, basic is not a characteristic of mana.
But
You'd
have to call out snow.
You'd have to give the basic lands a property that they don't already have.
You'd have to add a line to the comprehensive rules that said mana produced by permanents or spells with the basic type create basic mana.
Okay, that's one line in the have the basic type.
Okay, that's fair. No, I'm not saying as an alternative to the snow. I'm just saying if you're going to go in that design space, I think snow's too niche. I'm saying make stuff that cares about basic. Now, it doesn't solve the snow problem, but I was suggesting an alternative to, instead of snow, they could have done this. But, I mean, we already have a history of snow. We've got snow here. And I like the flavor. I like the frame, but my fear of snow kind of comes from, particularly in EDH, snow being the best thing.
Yeah, like the answer here is to make it affordable.
See, I agree. I would also, but like, I think there's snow hate they can be printing, and I think the god is kind of there because the card has 4 other effects that do non-snow related things. But like, if I'm playing Commander,
really good.
Mm-hmm, I like that. I might run that white card in just white Commander decks because It's a creature that slows down people from casting big spells. It has incidental snow hate, but that's what I'm saying. Snow hate needs to be incidental. So I don't want a card that says Price of Progress, but for snow. I want a card that says Burn Spell, that does burn spell stuff. Lightning Strike, but if it hits a snow creature, does 6. I want to run a card that I'm happy to have in my deck, or a utility land that taps for colorless, or blows up a snow land.
Okay, sure, but here's kind of the problem. The underlying problem here is you can't make cards that hit on it without calling attention to it. And making people go, what would this card be like if it didn't have this rider?
But see, for me, it's like I just think snow needs to have a downside, and at this point, it doesn't.
Right. I mean, the problem is that they printed snow basic lands, at all. That's the underlying problem.
The fundamental problem with snow started in Ice Age. Like, I would agree with that.
And there are a lot of really funky snow hate cards in Ice Age.
There are, yeah.
They're terrible. They're terrible, but they exist.
If in Cold Snap they had not leaned into it, or if they had done snow but made it only non-basics. I mean, because when they changed something about the Snowlands when Cold Snap came out, didn't they? Because they weren't
Snow mana didn't exist prior to Cold Snap.
Right. Okay. So snow being a property that mana has when it comes from a snow permanent, is the problem. If they hadn't made the Snowlands snow super type, and they kept the snow super type on non-basic lands, right? It would be a little unintuitive, but that would fix this problem. If they had made a special kind of mana that's not a color, kind of like how you have colorless mana, you could make it snow mana, but you don't say, mana produced by snow permanents is snow mana. You say, this is snow mana, it's not a color, but it's like a color.
Yeah.
It's a specific thing. So that would be the fix.
Prior to Cold Snap, Snowlands carried 0 actual rules text other than the fact that there were cards that existed that referred to snow-covered lands.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Cold Snap, they wanted to make snow relevant instead of just bringing back a bunch of cards that care about snow-covered lands. So they added snow mana. Snow mana did not exist prior to Cold Snap.
And you can say the downside to snow is the snow hate cards, but like Eric said, they are so bad they aren't worth it. So
I think the answer is somewhere though in the making things that snow can't do. Because I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like hate cards suck. They don't feel good.
Right.
So printing hate cards just to get rid of to douse on something only being good, I feel like is a bad answer.
Right, it was fine. It was fine making colorless mana because wastes are not inherently useful outside of casting things that specifically require. If you're not looking for stuff that specifically produces colorless mana, then you're better off running a whole plethora of non-basic lands that aren't wastes, because wastes have no additional abilities. Whereas with snow, you need snow mana specifically.
Right. And this is a weird gripe, but I think it's a legitimate one, particularly in a format where Commander, where it's about customizing your deck. There are 4 different kinds of snow lands. They're getting more and more, but it's that weird trade-off of, I want my deck to be good, but I love these lands art. So I actually kind of like what Eric's suggesting. If the rules committee went and said, you may declare all basic lands in your snow deck are snow, I wouldn't gripe, because there are some cool options, but it's a bummer that, I collected my Theros ones, or I spent $400 and I have 36 of the Godzilla forests. Oh, well, here's some really good green cards you want to run now. Because that's my Yawgmoth deck's already a snow deck, so it's my Mono Red deck's already a snow deck.
You want special snow covered lands? They printed 5. They printed 5 per secret layer. Good luck.
Yeah. Or get the full art Modern Horizon ones, which are probably going to spike now because everyone's going to want snow. And I know I'm shitting on snow a lot here. I like I was happy they brought it back. Like, it's one of those, if I could go back in time and change it, I probably would. But there's a dozen things I'd do with the game if I could go back in time. So, like, it's out there. It's going to be there. But I think a nice fix, and I think Standard's going to be exciting for it. And it encourages people to run actual basics, even if, well, snow basics, but still.
Except they didn't put them in the basic booster packs.
They did. They are it's sometimes the snow basic is replaced.
Oh,
it's not
okay.
every time.
I thought you were saying that like in Tarkir.
No, so it's a case. So you can. So
Okay.
every pack will have a snow land. It will be a basic or a common dual land. And hey,
So it's just
mad props for making more dual lands with basic types at well, the first time at common. We have 10 common basic lands that have basic land that tap lands that have basic types, which is great.
Oh yeah, it's super cool. But no, like my point with the snow hate though, I just want to like drive this home is because of how they decided to implement it in Cold Snap. The only way to fix it, the only way to create things that snow mana cannot do, because snow mana is not like a snow-covered mountain is not mountain minus something plus something else. It is mountain plus something else. So the only way to actually accomplish that is to explicitly call attention to snow. So
yeah,
what do you do? Do you just call attention to snow every single set that doesn't have it? Do you ignore it sometimes and acknowledge that if you have a good card? Because the only situation where it would make sense from a design standpoint to call attention to, like, you can't spend snow mana to do this is in a set that has snow.
Yeah, which is why I'm saying incidental snow hate on cards I'm happy to run otherwise seems the best fix to me.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that still calls attention to it.
Yeah, the problem is there's no characteristic of a snowland that you can deliberately call out that specifies it as snow without saying snowland. And you can't put something that says snowland in a set that doesn't have snowland.
And so I'm saying, so my mini fix is, whenever we do a set with snow, we're going to be adding more things to the pile of why aren't you running snow? So whenever we do a snow, and it's only doable in the snow set, whenever we do a snow set, I'd like to see 5 cards that have incidental snow hate but are also semi-playable. So if your commander play group's snow heavy, you can say, I won't run Lightning Bolt, I'll run Snow Lightning Strike, which is Lightning Strike, except it's better against snow.
I feel like we're talking past each other a little bit here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know it's not the best. I'm just trying to pitch a solution that is in the world we live in. Yeah, you have to call out snow because of the weird world we live in, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this isn't the best option, but I don't know. That's just kind of my thought on it.
Yeah, I think the quicker, easier solution is just make snowlands more available for everybody and make people not have to make weird rules about it.
Yeah, that might be. I mean, snow has baggage, and we could either stop printing snow stuff and just try to limit the baggage, or just accept snow has baggage and print it where it makes sense.
I mean,
Yeah, I haven't checked. I don't know if the bundles for this set are going to have.
They are not. Unfortunately,
they're not going to have snowlands in them.
Nope. Interestingly, they will have basic lands, and the only way to get those basic lands are in the bundle, I think.
That's so dumb.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb. No, because I remember when
the thing that anyone who's buying the bundle doesn't actually want.
Yeah, I remember. So normally I'm not a bundle guy, but when those second Zendikar 2 Reloaded, came out,
when you could get the full art lands in non-full art version.
So
yeah,
I just need to call out that Ray in the chat snow counter spell called Snope.
Damn, that's actually pretty good. I like that. I'm in for Snope. No, the first Zendikar ones had the bundle was full art lands, and I bought a lot of those bundles. Then
so
later,
was Oath of the Gatewatch.
Actually,
yeah, it was Oath.
In this conversation, 2 things came up that I really like. I really like the making them more ubiquitous, or either being able to call them out as snow. And I like the solution of starting to print creatures or spells, for instance, that do more damage if the target was produced using snow magic, it does more damage or something like that.
Yeah, that. No, sorry.
Yeah, just those kind of things that aren't like specific hate, but like secondary hate. Like I'm good on my own, but like if you're Snow, I'm especially good.
Well, they do that stuff. Again, spells usually targeted towards limited play. They do that stuff often enough. The one that immediately jumps to my mind is Electrostatic Bolt from Mirrodin, where it's a 1 red, deal 2 damage to target creature. If that creature's an artifact, deal 4 damage to it instead. Like, so like they definitely do put things like that in there. I don't know if there's going to be any specifically in this set, but they do try to be somewhat aware of like they print cards that are better if you're using them against that set's theme.
Oh gosh. Incidentally, Cold Snap had a cycle of hate spells that were like that. That were better against the enemy colors.
Well, they had a cycle of stuff that was explicitly like only playable against the enemy colors.
Okay, what set was the destroy target? No, I'm thinking of the Mirrodin one that's destroy a land. If it's non-basic, they take 2 damage.
Yeah, no, the Cold Snap ones were like Deathmark, destroy target green or white creature.
Right. Okay.
Cryoclasm was kind of incidental. It was like destroy. Well, no, I think even Cryoclasm just specifically said destroy target island or planes. Like,
and then it did like 5 damage.
2 damage to that.
What was the 5 damage? That was the burn spell from a few ago.
Roast or something.
Yeah.
There was a core set cycle where it hit the enemy stuff specifically.
Roast was just 2 mana, 5 damage to a creature at sorcery speed.
Okay, it exists. I can't think of it. We have been talking about Kaldheim a lot. We actually need to rotate on. Does anyone have any final thoughts before we move on?
I actually felt like we talked about Kaldheim and then we talked about Snow.
Yeah, we kind of moved into Snow, which I mean, it's a big mechanic, so I mean, it warranted some time.
We should take a quick ad break and then finish up.
So we're gonna jump to a quick ad break. We will be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Hello, and welcome to the ads. This episode is brought to you by Nuclear Ink Custom Tattoo and Skate Shop. At Nuclear Ink, you will find an inclusive environment with artists that share your interests in nerd culture and fandoms alike. Nuclear Ink prides themselves on being Omaha's premier all-custom tattoo shop. So if you're looking for a custom tattoo, please check out Nuclear Ink here in Omaha, Nebraska. Link will be down in the description down below. They're cool guys over there. If you're in the Omaha area and you want to get a tattoo, please go check them out. They're very nice friends of the show and we like them a whole lot. This episode is also brought to you by Cards Custom Builds. Are you into cosplay? Are you looking to get into cosplay? Well, then Cards Custom Builds is here to help. Cards Custom Build creates everything from cosplay accessories like props, trinkets, and weaponry, all the way to full costumes. Their work is guaranteed to make you the talk of the con. So, head over to Cards Custom Builds either on their Facebook or their Etsy account. The link will be down in the description down below. And make sure you mention TCG University to get 5% off your entire order. I've seen a lot of Clay's costumes that he's made. I forgot the word even though I've said it 20 times. They're all very, very cool. It's really awesome work, and Clay's a real cool guy. It's Tam's dad, and you should really go check it out. If you want to get into cosplay when this entire pandemic is over, that is an excellent place to start. This episode is also brought to you by Dex Protections. Dex Protections is our never-ending pursuit to create the highest quality storage and protection accessories. Their design and innovation comes from die-hard gamers and collectors just like you, so they know what you want in the products that you buy. They are constantly taking in feedback from their customers, and they have no plans to stop their innovations or their drive to refine the products until they are recognized as the leaders in the industry. I can't read very well. They make a terrific product, all with the avid gamer and collector in mind, so go ahead and check them out. Link will be out in the description down below. They make cool stuff, and when we can finally go out again, you're gonna want to snazz up all your cards that you're going to be bringing with some cool new boxes and stuff. So please go check them out. Dex Protections, link is in the description down below. And lastly, I would like to talk with you about Red Right Games. They're a Canada-based online seller of MTG, Pokemon, and Universes cards. They are friends of the show. Great guys. We like them a whole lot. And if you go to redriotgames.ca, you can use our creator code TCGU when you check out, and you can help support the show. So please, if you want to get some new cards for the new year and get ready for all the fun tournaments that you're going to go to, please go to redriotgames.com or redriotgames.ca. They're in Canada and they're not in the US, so it's not .com. And please buy from them. It would mean a whole lot to us. Thank you, and back to the show.
Welcome back, everybody. So before we wrap up, we are going to talk about one other exciting thing that came from Wizards since we've been on hiatus. Lily, when did this get posted, and what exactly is going on?
So technically this got posted December 8th.
Oh boy, okay, so
It's been a minute.
little bit.
But, all right, so on December 8th, we got a little mini article news announcement thing from Wizards about Magic Story and regionally blocked stories. And specifically what it's talking about is, in the past, there's always been this consideration for... so there are, I'm sure anyone watching this knows, that there are countries in the world where it is illegal to have stories that involve queer folks. Where you can't, it's considered basically like influencing children, especially if your thing is marketed towards kids. And as a card game, it kind of is. I mean, it's a children's card game. We can own that. I mean, so in the past there had been concern about the queer elements of Magic, specifically with the whole Chandra Nissa thing they were building for a number of years, and they were building for it.
Specifically, they've said they were. No, there's no question to this.
Right. It is not some fucking crack shit bullshit. Like, no. Taking a hard turn in Forsaken was the second novel.
A decidedly masculine turn, yes.
Oh my lord.
Decidedly male.
Decidedly male, yeah.
Jesus. And them basically doubling down on the no, everyone is heterosexual unless, explicitly stated otherwise angle.
Which they...
And then they never state otherwise, so it's just everybody is straight in the stories. And part of the thought was, the understanding was that they were kind of doing that. Like, there were a few years where we were getting more queer stuff, and then there was a point where they just kind of pulled back, and the thought was they were doing it because of pressure from Russia and China specifically. And on December 8th, literally like the first thing in a long time that Wizards has done that I was just like, yeah, okay, cool. We got an announcement indicating that they were just going to tell the stories that they want to tell, featuring the characters and relationships that best serve the story and the audience. And they're just going to do what they want to do. And they're not going to change it to accommodate local markets. They're just going to tell the story they want to tell. And if they have to block it in a certain region, I mean, people in those regions know how to get the content they want anyway. So it's basically like you could make an argument that blocking it in the region is sort of towing the line with the government in question, but they know that the people in those regions who want that content can still get it. Like, it's you can do it. And literally like a week and a half later, we have our first human non-binary character.
Or as put in the pre-show, our first non-binary planeswalker who isn't a literal nightmare monster.
Right.
Big love to Ashiok, but this is, I would say, better representation, generally speaking.
Yeah, and Nico is not not white, at least.
Yeah. No, it's I was so thrilled to see this. This has been I complain a lot about what Wizard does regularly, which I think is generally deserved, but rarely do I have the opportunity to say Wizards did a thing that I'm 100% behind. And it's a shame that those countries are going to choose to block that content, but like Lily said, people know how to get around that by putting their announcement like this. It's basically between the lines saying, hey, y'all, this stuff will be out there. Even if your country's going to try to block it, you know how to get it if you want it. And everybody wins here. I guess everybody reasonable wins, and if you have a problem with this, you can get fucked.
Right. I mean, it's also a jab at the very often toxic nerd boys who complain at every little bit of representation in a card game that has a very diverse audience.
Just want to keep politics out of my game. Is that too much to ask?
Well, getting past
I'm joking. Oh god, I'm joking.
Oh, yeah. I'm laughing. I'm rolling my eyes at the statement, not at you, Eric.
Right.
Getting past the notion that politics is in all things, because I mean that definitely is a notion.
All art is political.
I think it preserves a level of artistic authenticity. Like in the filmmakers, they'll make the movie that they want to make. They'll make the thing that they want to make, and if it's banned in a country or if it's cut in a country, it's cut in a country. So be it. Like I like that. Like Wizards is taking the point of like, no, we want to license the art that we want to license. We want to tell the stories that we want to tell. Like trying to tiptoe around like every little thing is making us curtail our artistic freedom. And that that sucks.
This is so good. And I will take a moment, hypothetical viewer, let's say you don't like this. Let's say you don't like this whole representation thing. Hear me out, please. It's not hurting you. You are so used to this, and a lot of people don't have the opportunity to realize it. Or at least I should say a lot of privileged people don't have the opportunity to realize how affirming this can be. And sometimes you just can't, and other times you've got to look for other examples. It was a really cool moment in Fallout 4 when I realized you could just be poly, and you could have multiple relationships, and nobody was going to throw a fit. That was such a cool moment. And that was an eye-opening moment for me where I'm like, wow, this actually does feel nice because I'm used to representation all the time. And this does not mean you will not see people like... This means everyone gets to see people like them in Magic. Hell, in Eldraine, they made Will Kenrith. Generally in media, there's not that many adult male blonde guys. So it was cool that Will was. And Will's also maybe bi per the book. And that's cool too. And so it's just nice. So every time you're like, oh man, Gideon's so cool, or oh, this character's so cool, there are a lot of people out there who get that feeling when Nico got put in the game. And so it's just everybody wins. Just because someone else is winning doesn't mean you're losing. It just means we're all winning.
It's not pie.
I finally got one for the first time in 20 years of playing this game recently with Hans Eriksson.
Yeah.
There's literally never been a positively portrayed fat main character in the history of Magic. They've all been disgusting, evil monsters. And even if Hans does kind of walk the line on being, Falstaffian, which is also kind of a cliche for fat people, like it's still a positive representation, which is
also
something I've been bugging WotC employees on Twitter for like a decade now.
Yeah. Shit, I didn't even cross my mind.
Definitely. It's super cool. I'm happy. But like the other thing about the representation stuff, if your position is, well, how many queer people actually play Magic? How many women actually play Magic and stuff?
All of them.
It doesn't seem like a lot of people of color, a lot of women, a lot of queer folks are playing Magic in the places you're playing Magic or in the circles that you keep. That says more about the company you're keeping than it does the hobby.
Yeah, I mean, you can make jokes about echo chambers, but like my Magic Twitter feed is literally like 80% like queer or female, or it's just.
And it makes
and I follow several hundred people, so
it makes the world better for everybody, and that's the thing. You can choose to feel excluded by this, Or you can choose to see it as welcoming more people in with open arms. And it's just how you frame it. So if you want to be bitter and lonely and pissed off, then be bitter and lonely and pissed off and feel bad. Or you could say, this is so cool. What an exciting moment. It's easier for me to welcome people into the game that I love. We want people playing the game. This is good. We want stories, authentic stories to be told. And from all of the, particularly like hearing the anger from the Wizards employees who set up Nissa and Chandra, it's not like some corporate person said, make sure it's gay enough. No, people wanted to tell this story and were hurt and sad when Wizards, and when bureaucracy and corporate shit fucked it up. This is a win. This is not going to be some pandery, box-checky thing. This is going to be excited people welcoming more people into our game.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I think it's important to say, not just wanted to tell the story, like they were putting in the groundwork for like a fleshed out, like real, genuine, like queer relationship in a story. They didn't want to just make it happen. They built to it, or they were trying to build to it, and they put in the work, and then fiat from the top down, it was, well, we don't know the full circumstances of why that ended up happening.
My understanding from the author is he was told to make that clear.
That would not surprise me. But
I wonder if there was ever any backlash at well, they had two. There was the one from Khan's block that they explicitly spelled out in the story that it was a trans character. And then there was the one from Dominaria who was the one that like the kickers matter on like red green uncommon that was explicitly spelled out as non-binary. And I wonder if that their pullback, their sudden pullback, had anything to do with reactions they may have gotten regarding those characters that were very clearly like testing the waters, and you know.
Well, Hal and Elena from Innistrad are a couple. They're the red and green partner commanders from Commander Legends.
Right.
Also in Kaladesh block, the innkeeper lady that makes the construct tokens, she has a wife.
Oh, yeah.
So
Also, Chandra's like surrogate, like mom figure too.
Yeah.
But, I mean, so this stuff's been in the story for a long time. I'm so glad that Wizards can go as far as they want to, as far as they feel is important, and just let the writers write a damn story without having to try to go, will this piss China off? Will this piss the Russian government off? Fuck them! The governments, specifically. The shitty governments who block this. Fuck that. Let's get some representation in here, because this is what the world looks like. And it's even business smart, because look at the Zoomers. They're all really gay. Which is great.
Good job, Zoomers.
But
love y'all. It's
look
great.
at them.
The kids are all right.
Yeah. So,
Right.
anything else before we wrap up and head over to the post show?
Real quick, just addendum here. Zoomers are young adults now.
God. Yeah, that's fair.
Generations don't generally get a name until they're like 20-something. Like late teens, early 20s, until the texture of what they're like as a generation starts to become apparent.
We didn't even put a name on it necessarily. We don't know if there'll be a civilization at that point, so why come up with a name we're not going to use, right? And on that cheerful note...
I do want to say also to everyone watching, golly, things are a shit show right now. I hope you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah. We would spend a lot of time discussing snow if you're watching live and you're in the Midwest. We're about to have a blizzard, so be safe. Keep yourself safe from the weather. Keep yourself safe from the crazy stuff happening. Do whatever you need to do to stay healthy.
Also, if you're watching from like 10 years in the future, snow might be this weird fantasy thing for you.
Yeah, no, we had it in Magic and in real life at the same time. It existed. So that is us. That's our show. Thanks for tuning back in. Sorry for the long hiatus. We just had a lot going on, particularly with production changes behind scenes. So we appreciate your patience. We appreciate you tuning back in. We will be back in 2 weeks. The plan right now is to go every other week on the show just because we have to take on more producing roles here. So that is the plan. We will update you if that plan is going to change. And keep an eye out on the Discord in particular. If you want the Discord, it's $1 a month. You get the Discord link. That's where if people go live with streaming, you'll find our stuff. Otherwise, check out social media. All that, you know what's going on. Thanks for tuning in. And make sure to remember who you are.